Hello and welcome along to Champions League Immortals on BT Sport, where we are celebrating 30 years of Europe's premier club competition by setting the ultimate challenge, and it's a tough one, to sift through the superstars and choose 11 icons of the game to form a dream team of immortality. But of course, it takes one to know one. So here with me today to help pick the lineup are 4 ex-pros with serious pedigree. Rio Ferdinand, Joe Cole, Martin Keown and Michael Owen are here to debate and discuss this. And I think we're going to be here a while, gents, because your task is to pick your ultimate all-time Champions League 11, and you all have to agree on every single position. Mo's laughing already. Look, the formation we're going with is a 4-3-3, loosely. It can change as we go along, so I think we better get straight to it. Should we start with the goalkeeper, Rio? As a defender yourself, you would have played in front of a number of top-class goalkeepers, but is there one that stands out for you?
Well, on this list, for me, it's Edwin van der Sar. For me, he was the most calming influence. I think for a defender, I don't know, Martin, you might agree, playing with David Seaman, one of the best attributes for a keeper for me, other than saving the ball from going in the net, was actually how calming they were. No panic, plus the fact that he'd won it twice at Ajax and Man United, and he was an integral part of us winning it.
What do you think from a defender's perspective, Martin?
Yeah, Van der Sar, I mean, I'm not even sure he was the best Manchester United goalkeeper. Peter Schmeichel, for me, was probably better. But when you think, I think, what was he, 40 years of age at the...
He was 37 there, and then 40 years of age when we lost it in Wembley.
Quite remarkable how he kept himself. The wingspan that he had was quite remarkable. Huge man. So he's in there, but I think Casillas is probably the goalkeeper we should be looking at. He was 19 when he made his first... He won the Champions League for the first time. And you think about the number of games he played, how decorated he is, he's surely up there.
He had great pedigree, didn't he? What about from your perspective, Mo? Because you will come at this from a different angle, being a striker. Was there a goalkeeper that had that presence that you just hated coming up against?
I think that this is the hardest position. I think there's no real standout. I think we could debate this for an hour.
We could.
I've gone for Buffon instead of Rio's Van der Sar. I played with, obviously, Van der Sar. Thought he was absolutely immense. I played with Casillas, very good. When you look at their results, their you know, how many things they've won and things like that, you know, it obviously has a huge bearing on who it should be. But I just think this fella, Buffon, in terms of quality, was probably the best. He was unbelievable. And now, I know everyone will say he didn't win it. He got to 3 finals. But if we're going to just go down the line of whoever's won it the most, then there's no debate, is there? So I do think that he was absolutely outstanding for a long, long period of time. 52 clean sheets in the competition as well. I'm just edging with him, but I'm happy to concede on this one.
Well, you raise an interesting point, because, of course, Buffon never won it, as you mentioned. Do you have to have won the Champions League, Joe, to be considered an immortal?
I think in this team, imagine him in that dressing room when they're all getting their medals out and Buffon sitting there and he ain't won it. I think he'll struggle with that one. I agree with Mo. I think from what I've watched, he was the most impressive goalkeeper. I never actually played against him, Buffon. But for me, I'd probably go with Manuel Neuer. I think Manuel Neuer changed goalkeeping. When he was just becoming that keeper sweeper and he's just pinging it about. So, like, Mo's right in the sense that it could be either of the 4. It's a tough one to pick. They're all amazing. Longevity, maybe you go with Buffon because of his age. But I think you have to win it, though. I think that should be something that everyone on this list has won it, apart from Ronaldo and Buffon, I believe. I think that should be... you have to have won it.
So we've got 4 different goalkeepers in the mix. This is
not a good start.
Really good start, gents. Who are we going with?
I'm happy to concede this one and let someone else pick it. Who do you want? Martin, go on, start with you.
Well, listening to the arguments, Buffon sounds to me... I mean, I take what you're saying, that he's never won it. But looking at those clips, I think he probably was the best all-round goalkeeper. I don't know Casillas was really that intimidating a prospect for a striker coming in. He wasn't necessarily the biggest. His career sort of fell away quite sharply, although his numbers are amazing. And he has won it multiple times. But Buffon, to play... I mean, he's still playing now.
Yeah, I know.
It's quite remarkable. Maybe he's the best goalkeeper of that era.
I do agree with you, though. I don't think we can put someone in that's not won it. I mean, he's my pick because I think he's the best goalkeeper.
I don't think he should be in it for being... No, you can't not have a a Champions League medal.
Casillas has made the second most Champions League appearances. Like that's proper longevity at the top level. So and
we'll go with Casillas then.
Yeah.
Casillas, I've put him in already.
Casillas
Okay.
it is?
Put him in.
Right,
Let's go.
we have a decision. It's Iker
That was your pick,
Casillas.
wasn't it?
Initially, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was going with you on Buffon. But anyway, we'll go with Casillas.
OK, let's move on and talk about the right-back position. Joe, talk to us about the right-back that would be your preferred choice.
I've played against all of these from off the left. Dani Alves gave me my toughest night of my career. Well, it was an England game against Brazil, and it was when he was first emerging. And before the game, Steve McClaren was saying, he keeps going, he keeps coming. But I've never known a fullback just pin you back. I was running backwards the whole game. His vision, his ability, and his link-up he had with Messi, and that word again, longevity. That pass is unreal.
That pass is a joke.
Like, from a right-back, it's almost a waste, someone without ability, like, to do things like that. He was an incredible player. People might question him defensively, but he'd pin you back so much, he very rarely had to defend. He was always on the front foot, and he's still going now at a very top level.
Yeah, and
amazing.
I think his style of play as well, I think, has inspired a lot of the current crop of right-backs that we see. You wanted to make a case, though, for another right-back, Cafu.
Yeah, Cafu made my team, and I'm probably happy to concede this one because Alves was sensational, especially looking at those clips then. But Cafu growing up, wow. I mean, talk about energy on that right-hand side. Almost, again, redefined a position in many ways. I know there's always been attacking fullbacks, but watching him, you get tired watching him, let alone anything else. He was so good, and that sort of combination for Brazil at the time, Roberto Carlos and Cafu, was just mesmerising. So he's got to get an honourable mention.
When we think of a right-back, are we thinking of how they fulfil their defensive duties as well as going forward? Because that's what we see a lot in the modern game, don't we?
Do you know, I think if it was, it really is a flick of a coin, Alves and Cafu, two magnificent players, but I think Cafu does it for me because the way he revolutionised that position, really, the way he got forward with Roberto Carlos on the left. The numbers for this guy, 2 World Cup wins as well. I know we're sitting here and it's about Champions Leagues, but I feel he just led that way. He was ahead of Alves. He played more games, I think, for Brazil, 145 games or something for Brazil. It's crazy numbers. Look, either way, I'd be happy, but I think Cafu pips him.
Yeah, 19 major honours as well to add to that. Rio, what do you think?
I'm surefire with Alves. I think Alves is the one. He's the most decorated player.
35 trophies or something.
35 or something, and growing probably trophies. The guy is just immense. He patrolled that whole right-hand side on his own in arguably the best club team we've ever seen. Linked up with Messi, as Joe was saying. I just think his array of passings we saw in those clips, you'd have centre midfielders being proud of that. Like, he's the best passer I've ever seen from that position. I couldn't speak highly enough about him, so I'm going Alves. Are we going to put him in?
I think, yeah, go on, put him.
All right.
I think.
Okay.
I was just Cafu.
Go on then, Rio.
Go on. After that, we go with Alves.
like
Well, you
Vincent
can't
was
really argue with that, can you? He's such a quality player. All right.
It's a flick of a coin, isn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree. Yeah.
On to the left-back position. Again, it's a tough one, Mo.
It is. I'm going for a former teammate, Roberto Carlos for me. Again, those fullbacks for Brazil were just unbelievable. He won the Champions League 3 times, so of course he's got the numbers to back it up. Loads of appearances, loads of goals. I think he's right up there in terms of highest scoring defenders as well. He was iconic, wasn't he? He was tiny, but he had thighs that were absolutely huge, and he had a thunderous shot.
Brilliant player.
Yeah, I mean...
Played with a smile on his face, didn't he? He loved his football.
And he scored goals as well. He was a joint highest scoring defender with Piqué, Martin.
Yeah, frightening. Just keeps a look at the technique there. Not a problem. Brilliant Real Madrid team that he was in. It's so exciting to watch. It's hard to vote against him, really.
Is it? If you've got Ashley Cole in the mix?
I think Ashley Cole's a better defender than both of them. I concede that Carlos and Marcelo going forward had a bit more flair, but Ashley, you know, he come from Martin's school of defending that great Arsenal back four where he learnt so much. On top of that, he was a striker as a kid. I remember playing with him. He was a goal scorer, Ash. He could score goals. He had a great left foot get forward. And when he played left back, people raised their eyebrows. And then he went on to become probably the best left back we've ever produced at this country. And he sits next to them names comfortably. I would, in terms of balance, and that's the only part of the team I would concede balance, because the rest of my team is just all out flair. But Ash is definitely a better defender than them two.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm surprised you
I
ain't picked him, Mark.
Well, it's up for
Have I
debate.
not convinced
it's up
you?
for debate because I think actually, when you look at Ash, the way he developed into the
Yeah.
team, he was quite magnificent for Arsenal on that left-hand
Yeah.
side. And if we're going to pick an Englishman in this team,
Yeah.
maybe it's him that deserves to be.
Can't be Rio, put it that way.
Is Rio on this list? Is he?
I'm just happy to be on the list. I'm happy to be on the list, that's it.
Vidic on it.
I feel lucky to be on here.
Yeah.
I mean, is he the finest left back that England has ever produced?
100%, yeah. He's easily the best left back. I mean, I didn't see enough of Kenny Sansom and people would argue about him.
I played with both.
Martin's probably old enough to know.
I was lucky to play with both of them in an Arsenal team, and Ash
Who's better?
pips him. Ash, because his all-round play, his goals, and he would make something happen every time he played. He was a winner, Ash. A winner. You look at that when he got to Chelsea. Nobody at Arsenal carried on winning championships, but he did.
Yeah, Ash is a top player, but when you're talking about this immortal team, I think Roberto Carlos stands head and shoulders above the others for me because he again, another one who patrolled that left-hand side and became, as Mo said quite rightly, an icon from left-back.
He's shooting power, wasn't it? He was so explosive.
Yeah, he was doing stuff that was mesmeric at times. Even his goal in the Le Tournoi. Remember that goal?
Bent it round.
He's done things in the game that other people look at and go, I couldn't do that. No chance could I do that. And he's just doing things that are very different. So that's why I've picked both my fullbacks as being the Brazilian pair.
We have to pick
Who
one.
are you picking, guys?
Carlos. Sorry, Ash.
Roberto
You're off.
Carlos.
Ash.
It just pips Ash. I think Ash would be happy with
3-1, it's like Carlos.
Oh.
He'd accept that, wouldn't he, Ash?
I've just been dealt with there, haven't I?
Sorry, we've got Brazilian fullbacks in the team. That's what we're going with.
OK, all right.
Sorry,
We'll,
Joe.
when we get caught in the counter-attack, you can blame all you.
That's exactly what we'll do.
Brilliant.
Right, onto the centre-back position. We've got two top-class centre-backs right here. Rio Ferdinand. Who's the first centre-back that springs to mind for you?
For me, the first one I'm going to put on is Sergio Ramos.
Why?
To do what he's done as captain in that ridiculous Real Madrid spell when he won it 4 times. I mean, and not only that, he's impacting these games in the finals as well, scoring goals. I think he's got a couple of goals in finals. He's his character. He was great at the dark arts as well. And the bigger the occasion, the more influential he became. And I think that's you can't undermine or underplay the value of that. Them big games, you need big players to come up and perform. A lot of players shrink in their moments, don't perform to the level that you're accustomed to seeing them at. This guy grows and gets bigger, so he's in for me.
The only player to have lifted that trophy 3 times as a captain. He had the leadership qualities, as you said, and he had the fiery personality as well.
Yeah, PK was in there as obviously his colleague at national level. Ramos probably pips him. I think, though, to play alongside him, I'd be looking at Maldini, who was just absolute quality. Actually played against him as well, around about the same era as myself. Won 5 of these Champions Leagues, just quite remarkable. Whether he played left back or he played central defence, he was just class the whole time, never ruffled, great in possession, and just kept going on for years and years. So I think Maldini takes a lot of stopping getting in this team.
So we've got Maldini, we've got Ramos. Joe, can you make a case for anyone else?
No, just saying that how good looking is our 2 centre-halves as well.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Are you happy with them then?
Yeah, they're beautiful. I like them.
That's why
Beautiful
Rio's getting nowhere near them, isn't he? Forget playing
That's why I didn't get in. That's the only reason I didn't get in, guys.
You are on the list. What about for you as a striker? Who did you hate coming up against?
There's some great players, of course, in there. PK, Puyol, Varane, Rio Ferdinand, of course. But I totally agree with the lads. I don't think there's going to be any arguing, is there?
No.
They're getting in.
That was the easiest selection for me. I've got to be honest, them two.
They were.
OK, well, let's see.
Maldini could have played left back, could have played anywhere across the back line, in fairness.
Got versatility there, haven't we? Well, that is our back line locked in. And next up, we will be picking our midfielders, the maestros, the magicians, the men in the middle. I have a feeling that this one may take a little while. We'll see you soon. Hello and welcome back to our Champions League Immortals show, where the gents here are picking their all-time Champions League 11. Now, so far, this is how the team is shaping up. So we have Real Madrid legend Iker Casillas in goal. We've got a couple of Brazilian fullbacks, Dani Alves and Roberto Carlos, on either flank. And in the middle, the centre-back partnership of Maldini and Sergio Ramos. Now, it was fairly straightforward, actually, to come to that defence and that goalkeeper, I don't know if the next part is going to be as straightforward when we pick our midfield. So we're going for 3 midfielders. Go on, Joe, take it away. First midfielder that springs to mind.
Well, it's a current midfielder, actually, and I'm going to go with Luka Modric. Because, you know, we've seen this lad. By the way, he's won the Ballon d'Or as well, so we're just throwing that one in there. But he's won 4 or 5 Champions Leagues. And not only that, like Rio says, big games, he turns up. He turns up, he controls the tempo of games, he drops into deep positions, he can score goals. And at 36, he's still doing it at the very, very top. We watched him dominate a game in the semi-final. He's an outstanding footballer. And I think he's one of the ones that the lads might miss because he's so understated. You know, look at this ball. Like, he's got everything as a midfielder. You know, he's a joy to watch. And he looks like he can carry on playing for another 4 or 5 years. And I just think he has to be in the team. Incredible midfielder.
Yeah, you mentioned actually the Ballon d'Or winner. The fact is he broke that consecutive spell of Ronaldo and Messi winning it back to back for 11 years, and then he came along and won it. So
I can't argue with Modric, I've got to be honest. He's not in my team, and it's such a hard, it's a tug of war, but I went for Xavi for the mere fact that this guy absolutely controlled games. He was phenomenal. I mean, again, the greatest club team that I've ever played against and ever seen. Won 4 Champions Leagues and was absolutely integral to the tempo of the football that they played. The tempo, the game, all ran through him. When it needed to speed up, right, he was the one that drove that. If it needed to slow down and turn out, pirouette out of a little cul-de-sac, bang, go out the other way, it was him. He was just... You couldn't get near him. And I remember playing in games against him and just thinking, we have not laid a glove on this guy. And it's because he would not let you. If you got tight to him, he played one touch. If you give him space, his head was up and he'd start again dictating. And you're shouting to teammates, get close to him. And then teammates looking at you almost like starry-eyed going, listen, you try and get near him. Can't get near the guy. But I wouldn't argue with Modric, but Xavi for me in that era was like, he dominated.
Xavi, Modric, who else, Mo?
Oh, I've got another 2 names.
Oh.
Right, who should we go for first? Let's go Iniesta. I think he's got to.
I agree.
To be in, if I can find him. Iniesta is. Oh, there he is. And I put him in. Again, you know, what's he won? 4 Champions Leagues. I just think that in our era, the team to beat were Barcelona. They were the most dominant team that there's been, you know, that I've ever played against. And Xavi and Iniesta just literally controlled virtually every game. It was the most unbelievable midfield, obviously with some great players dropping in there, you know, the likes of Messi and you simply couldn't get the ball off them. And I hear Joe's argument with Modric, but I don't think Modric has ever played in a team, and you'll shoot me down here because you'll say, well, look how many times Real Madrid have won the Champions League in recent years. But even though they've won loads of Champions League, I still don't think that they've been the dominant force like Barcelona were. There's still been other great teams. You know, when Real Madrid have won the Champions League, they've been like 4th, 5th favourites sometimes. So I don't think he's in a dominant, whereas those two, literally, as Rio said, you couldn't get near those 2 types of players.
And you get the feeling that if you have one, you have to have the other, surely.
This is the difficulty, isn't it? They were so dominant. It was almost like that carousel, the way that they played, and it was so difficult to pick up in midfield. The skill set of both players, Xavi, starting everything off. Busquets not making it, by the way. And you think to yourself, you know, I know Joe's a big player for balance. He's becoming a coach, and he's just saying there about we've got 2 fullbacks that are bombing forward. I wonder whether Gerrard should come into this. But we're looking at Zidane. I'd like to play Zidane in. I mean, he has to get into any midfield, Zidane. So if we're going to play with a sitter in Gerrard, then, you know, why can't we have Xavi one side and Zidane the other? So, I mean, that looks like a pretty good midfield to me. So many options in there. Yeah. But if we want balance, because we've got 2 fullbacks bombing on, I think Steven Gerrard, and you think Steven Gerrard won the Istanbul final, how we got Liverpool back into that was quite remarkable. I don't think we should.
If you're using that as the example, he was right back that game, wasn't he?
He played a bit of everywhere, yeah.
I think there was a few injuries. But
all I'm saying is his impact was from like that right-hand side.
Yeah, but he can do that. He can be, when the fullbacks are bombing on, he can go into those areas. He can. I mean, I don't think we should underestimate Gerrard.
No, I think Stevie's I agree. Stevie's like a ridiculous play any generation. and you'd be talking about him as a top player. And he had massive match-winning moments, defining moments, where you go multiple times in his career. That guy, he took a team who weren't considered a great team, but he took them to great heights. And not many other players, if any, in that generation would have been able to do that.
He's unique, isn't he? He's unique as a footballer in the sense that there was no one like him. I remember that final in Istanbul when he went right back, and he was like, I was looking at him thinking, that's one of the best right-back performances I've seen for 20 minutes. He could play anywhere on the pitch and be the best player. But with Xavi and Iniesta, they revolutionised what we thought of what a midfielder looks like. Like, if you would have said, if Xavi and Iniesta would have wandered into an academy at 16 in England and gone, well, I'm a centre mid and I sort of... The coaches wouldn't have been able to put a system into doing it. But with that Barcelona system in it, when they was like, you couldn't get near him, because I played directly against him at times, and they were so intelligent. You'd want almost to be up against someone, and then you'd know. But the movement, they drop into a left back position, right position, pick the ball up, drop it off. Then the centre half would come in, and all of a sudden they're popping up behind you. They was wizards.
We're not mentioning Paul Scholes in all this as well.
Just gonna
And he's another player, really. I mean, they talk about him, those two, don't they, as their most
inspiration.
difficult opponent.
He was the inspiration for those two. When they were youth team players, they talked about players that were given as examples, and Paul Scholes was that guy.
Best midfielder you ever played with?
Yeah. It was just a joy to play with.
Could Paul sit deep? Could he be the one that sprays those balls?
At the end of his career, that's what he done.
So would you put him in the middle of these two?
In that role, I think there's better players that have played that position. I think Busquets, if you're going to play as just an out-and-out sitter, or Makelele, who's had a role named after him? Not many. Makelele has.
Can I make an argument here for... So, Xavi, Scholesy, yeah, Iniesta and Modric have got what they've got, but then them two add a bit more. They could dribble, they could drive, they could break a line. So I just think they was a little bit more kitted out. Now Stevie was probably all-rounder, was better than all of them, but within a system, that's why I'd go with Iniesta and Modric, because I think they had more attributes, but within a system in terms of controlling the game, I think them two sitting in there.
So I think we all agree that Iniesta and Xavi are two.
While you've all been talking, I've been putting my three in there that I think so I'm all right. Can I just say, if Steven Gerrard was playing in that Barcelona team, I believe he would have been the second best player behind Messi. Steven Gerrard can do absolutely anything. He's as subtle with a pass, he's got skill, he's got power, he's got absolutely everything.
And he's a leader as well. He's got more than
he
just
scores
skill.
loads of goals. I know you'll say, oh, he's only won one Champions. Have you seen that team that he played in? With all due respect, have you seen the team that won the Champions League? I mean, there was some top players in it, don't get me wrong, but there was some players that you think, wow,
name names.
Have you won a Champions League?
I can't believe Carragher's getting a beating like this.
Alonso was a great player, of course. But
no, you're right.
You look at that team, you look at that.
That's another argument, Mark.
He literally carried that team.
But that does come into this conversation.
I don't think the
level and
others
quality of
could have
players
done
you're
what
around.
Stevie... That's the point. I don't think the others could have done what Stevie done at Liverpool, but it's all ifs and buts. Like, I don't think they couldn't take a game by the scruff of the neck. They didn't have the power to do that. They needed to be...
And I do think that if Gerrard was in that Barcelona team, you'd be talking about him like... Wow.
So would you not put Zidane in that team?
So,
in that bit?
Yeah,
Gerrard
he's
over
in behind
Zidane.
it too in my team.
So if we all agree on Xavi and Iniesta, are we going with Zidane or are we going with Gerrard?
I can't look past Zidane, man. I can't look past Zidane.
Zizou has to be in there. That's like... He's one of the non-negotiables.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zidane has to, like...
Well, let's put him in, but leave Steven Gerrard in for now, please.
Okay.
But then do you take
now
one
we
of,
have four
do you take one of
midfielders.
Iniesta and Xavi rather than
Can
both?
we take one?
Well,
I'd go...
Can you separate them?
Xavi and Iniesta had people on roundabouts without roads off. They were just going round and round, going, where are they? Where are they? Where's the ball? They didn't know what was going on. I've not seen people made to feel like they were at a circus like that on a football pitch in my life. I mean, we came off the pitch and I was talking to Giggsy and Scholesy at Wembley. We got embarrassed that day. They played in there as well and whatnot. And I remember them saying that that's the most embarrassing game we've played in. And they were integral to that.
But you can only have one. You've got to pick one. If you had to pick one, Xavi and Iniesta.
So we only go with one of them?
Which one would you pick?
Well,
Why?
it depends.
Well, no,
And by the way,
potentially, which one would you
we
pick?
started the conversation with
Iniesta.
Modric, by the way.
Yeah, but Iniesta's a more forward player. Xavi can just sit, can't he, and just...
Yeah.
Because we've all agreed we're not going to play a sitting midfielder as such in terms of a Busquets or a Makelele.
My team's dominating the ball. We're dominating
We want to
the ball.
dominate the ball,
So
don't we?
Xavi sits instead of Gerrard.
Yeah, I would play Xavi
Yeah,
sitting.
Gerrard's wasted sitting. He's wasted.
I played
So
Xavi
Iniesta
sitting
one
there.
side and Zidane the other?
Like that, mine. Oh, can you see that far?
I can, but
Whoa! That's not the formation.
That's my team.
That is not
You've
the
all been
formation.
talking, I've been subtly doing it.
Wow.
Are you
We've got
changing
three
it there?
That's the format. That's what I want.
Is that the formation we're going with? No, it's
No,
not.
because
We have to go
I
with
would
three.
like to go with a 2 and a 1.
Okay.
With Zidane in the hole.
But don't you play
And
with
Xavi
one
and
sitter and
Iniesta.
two
So
on the
it-
side?
Two midfielders. Just go and play, lads. Do what you want. Get on the ball, and then get the ball, break the lines, give it to Zidane. Then he'll turn, and then he'll give it to my front three.
He's so sneaky.
Yeah, but you only want one sitter, don't you? When you
And then
think
it's
about the
party
numbers.
time. No. Yeah, but they're not really sitters, Mark.
They're just free. We're freedom
the
fighters. here.
rotation.
You're freedom fighters.
You're too like
Yeah.
Too rigid.
stiff.
You're too
rigid.
stiff.
So
It's
no
the
one's
Arsenal
sitting.
back
You
four
can't-
mentality.
you can't-
George
you
Graham,
can't ask
George
these
Graham.
players.
No one's sitting because Vieira. Don't forget
Don't you
Vieira.
need
But we never
balance,
even
though?
mentioned Patrick Vieira. He's not even in this team. Maybe he could have sat in midfield.
In the
there.
Champions League.
Not in the Champions League.
Check
He's
that.
not done. He's not got the numbers. of these
Yeah, but
guys in the
we've
Champions
just
League.
talked about Buffon not actually winning the Champions League.
He didn't
so
make the
Patrick
team, he didn't
Vieira
make the
surely
team.
comes into an argument. but
Buffon didn't make the team, mate.
He's my mate, Patrick. He's got to be in there.
I love Patrick. I think he was
I love
great.
Patrick, but
these guys in this competition, wow. Like for me, the way it's set up there, I'd take that all day long.
You would. You can't take Gerrard out. I watched you do it. You can't do that.
Can you really take Gerrard out, Rio?
I think Iniesta and Xavi as a pair, there's never been anything like it.
You
as
can't
a pair.
break them up.
They dominated too much. Zidane, like what he had people doing around the world, purring like the guy was like he was doing Mozart while everyone was doing hip hop and rock.
Yeah.
like it was just different.
Whenever anyone ever asks me who's the best player you ever played with, I always say him, because as you say, he was just born to be. It takes most
You
of
just
us.
said Gerrard was the best.
No, I
player.
didn't. The way he takes it, the ball, it takes most of us 2, 3 touches to do what he does in one. Everything
is the
just
goal.
flows. This is the hardest skill on your weak foot, dropping out the air like that. That is the hardest skill in football.
Even taking that on, it is a direct liberty.
You
it's a
think to yourself,
stinking
what's he
liberty.
doing? What's he doing?
Yeah, it's a
then-
liberty.
Can I throw a spanner in the works? What about Clarence Seedorf?
Yeah, I had him in my team as well, yeah. But you guys have swayed me, and I've swayed myself, right? But
swayed
Clarence Seedorf, for me, is the most underrated player in the Champions League era ever.
Why do you think he was underrated?
He won it at 3 different clubs. That tells you he's got some value and importance, knows how to get it done in different environments. And playing against him, he was another one you couldn't get near because he could play off both feet. He had incredible balance and he was mobile, he was quick, solid, strong as you like.
Yeah.
Could score goals and he could play and rotate in so many different positions. He could play any era. And Ajax came in as a kid, teenager, wins it. Then all of a sudden he evolves as a player. He was phenomenal.
When you retire, a few years after you retire, you play in these charity games sometimes.
He's the best.
Like, he's the best by far. He's still fit, strong. He's just, you think to yourself, wow, he could play now and play at a real high level even now.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
4-time winner as well, as you said.
Yeah.
OK, we still have to make a decision. I don't think we've come to one yet.
I want Gerrard in, I really
So you
do.
want Gerrard?
Because Zidane's got to be the non-negotiable.
Yeah, I agree with
that-
that. I agree with that.
So if you
then
want to
who
break
do you
up the
drop?
pair, then break up Iniesta and Xavi.
But can't you have
Who do you go with?
Zidane as sort of in behind 2 front players? So you've got 3 midfielders and then Zidane sort of pushed in behind, no?
We're going with a midfield 3. You can't change the rules, Mo.
No, I'm saying he can be part of a front line.
Well, it doesn't matter how that 3 sits, whether there's
Yeah.
one sitter or one at the top.
No.
So I think really Gerrard should come into that, guys.
Until you taken out them.
Who drops out?
I would take Iniesta, but that's just I think Xavi was the one of those two. I know that people thought Iniesta was the one that superseded him, but I thought Xavi was their most critical player.
Where's Stevie? Oh, he's hiding down there. Don't hide from me. You actually put him lower down. So yeah, so I can't do it. So
I'm happy. I'm happy
you
with
not
that.
happy
I'll
with
take that. I'll take that. Yeah. I think Modric and
You had first-hand
Iniesta.
experience, didn't you, of Iniesta? You got hurt by those two, didn't you? And is
Yeah.
that on your mind because of the?
Yeah. Well,
It's been a long time ago,
I've not
but-
slept well
I always
at all
feel that
since
comes
them
into
two
it. You know,
finals.
when you've played against people and you realise
Yeah.
up front, wow, this was just.
Mate, you're sitting behind that, yeah, and you're saying to your midfielders, any chance you getting close to these guys, and you can feel them looking back at you to just say, you come in here and try it. There
So
ain't
are
many
we-
teams you play against that do that to you.
Have we got there then? Are we there? Joe, are you happy?
I'll accept that.
You're not happy, Joe, are you?
I'm
Joe's
not
not
happy.
happy.
Do you want Iniesta instead of Gerrard?
Joe,
I'd have for the interest of fairness, I'd have Iniesta instead of Xavi, and I've played directly against both of them, and Xavi, you can't get near any of them, right? So I sort of kill my own argument. But when you do actually get near him, you could get amongst it with Xavi a little bit. Iniesta was stronger physically, and
Sharp.
he dropped the shoulder and went by. I don't think passing the ball, I don't think there was too much in it. I think they both had the range of passing.
Iniesta could dribble, couldn't he?
Iniesta could dribble.
He could play left wing sometimes.
Scorer of
Massive goal.
the biggest goals, World Cup final. You know,
Maybe we should keep them both in then.
Back to the drawing board.
So, Ea, is this what we're doing?
I mean, they won it 5 times, didn't they?
yeah.
Yep.
Is that what we're doing
The
then?
numbers,
I'm more comfortable with that
at
than
the
the other
numbers.
way around.
the numbers support them.
Rio, are you happy with that?
Is everyone agreed? Are we happy with that?
I'll accept it, but I do think that Xavi should be in there.
I
But I'll take it.
yeah.
I'll take. I'll take
Well,
it.
I had Xavi in my team.
Have a Xavi or Iniesta, have a vote then.
I'm not saying Xavi on this.
All right, okay.
I'm saying that Xavi should be in there instead of Gerrard, based on what they've done together as a pair.
So
they
you take
dominated
Gerrard out,
European
take
football.
Gerrard out,
Break them.
take Gerrard out and play with the 2 Barcelona
Yeah, but I'm on my own, and I accept
Zidane.
this. But I'm on my own in that argument. It's fine. I'll take defeat in this area.
What about
And I love Stevie.
He said it. He said it.
Modric?
Okay, we're settled,
Modric
we're
got just
settled.
parked up as
Yeah,
well.
Modric and Xavi getting parked up, and they'd won it more than 4 or 5 times each. Wow.
It's such
Wow.
a tough decision to make. I'm glad it's you guys doing
It's-
it, not me. Right, well, we've come to our trio. We're going to move on because coming up, we will discuss the best of the best. Now, I don't think I'm giving away any spoilers here because these two are quite simply in a league of their own. The debate that has dominated the game for over a decade. We talk Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo straight after this break. Hello and welcome back to Champions League Immortals. Now, this is the team so far. It didn't take much debate, actually, to pick the first 5 players. So the goalkeeper, Real Madrid legend Iker Casillas in goal. Ramos and Maldini as our centre-back partners. The guys came to that decision fairly quickly. And Brazilian fullbacks in Dani Alves and Roberto Carlos. But here is where the debate really began, and that was when it came to the midfield. Zinedine Zidane, the 98 Ballon d'Or winner, made the cut. Steven Gerrard, Liverpool legend, also made the cut. And Iniesta as well, but his teammate Xavi didn't quite make it, and that's where we took some time to come to that midfield decision. But we got there in the end. You were all happy in the end, weren't you? Sort of.
Oh,
I feel I'm not rewinding. Let's move forward. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Xavi.
Okay, I think that.
Do you feel guilty?
I couldn't rest easy in the ad break then. I was like, how have we not...
Manager,
Okay.
how does that conversation go? You have to tell sorry, fella, you're not playing.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Imagine
move
the
on.
look of disgust from their teammates.
I don't think there'll be any debate about 2 of the 3 players that make our forward line, and that is Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Mo. The superlatives are endless. The list is endless to describe Lionel Messi. Just a legend, a living legend. I don't know if we'll ever see anyone quite like him again.
No, we won't. Let's just put them in. I presume Ronaldo down the centre and Messi off the right.
Yeah.
That's how we put them
Yeah.
in. Yeah, I mean, these 2 players are just... We haven't seen anything like it. I don't think we will see anything like it. I think they've been so important for each other. They've taken each other to the next level. Without Ronaldo, then Messi possibly wouldn't have reached these numbers and these levels and vice versa. Quite stunning. I mean, how lucky are we all to have watched these, played against these types of players, and then watched them just create numbers that will probably never, ever be beaten. It's just stunning. There's no words to describe how good these 2 players are.
So who's the first name on the team sheet? Is it Messi or is it Ronaldo? Or is that a really horrible question?
Messi. Messi does things on the football pitch which you like with Ronaldo. Like from a player's perspective, you can work out how he's doing what he's doing. With Messi, some of the goals he scores, I can't work out for the life of me how he does it when he takes them little touches in tight areas and he'll just shift it from left foot to right foot and unbelievable. And that's in the Champions League final. He's not renowned for scoring with his head, but he's still got that in his locker. But these type of things here, when he used to just drive through the middle, like there's no right to get through there and then have the composure to find the corner in the biggest games.
That's in the Bernabeu.
He's the best player I've ever seen, and he's a joy to watch.
You know what he's going to do, but you can't stop him, can you? And even in a telephone box,
Look.
he'd find space.
I don't know.
That is incredible.
What he's done to Boateng there,
Made him lay down. Made him lay down.
Yeah,
But you know what? It's the maddest thing. He scored 91 goals in a calendar year for club and country. That's almost 100 goals in a calendar year. That is disrespectful.
yeah.
That's more headers you made at Man United your last
But that's
season.
like Sunday League players don't do that. Do you know what I mean?
Incredible.
It's crazy stuff what he's doing on the biggest stage.
Could you ever have a plan to play against him? Because he just produced magic all the time. I just don't know how you do it.
Listen, at Wembley, we played at Wembley in a Champions League final. I remember standing in the middle of the pitch, or in the halfway line almost, when we had the ball for that 1 minute of the game. But when we were defending, even me and Vidic looking at each other, both, we didn't say a thing, but it was almost like we have not touched him the whole game. Haven't got near him, but he's affected the whole game. It's all gone through him. And even you finish that game and you go, you know what? As good as that Barcelona, they were a great team. But if he didn't play, we might have had a chance of winning. That's how good he was. It's like a school match. If the best player weren't playing, we could get near these. He was just a different level, just ridiculous.
Why can't you just go and man mark him then? I mean, obviously,
You've got to find that player. You've got to find that player capable of man marking.
And they were so good as well. They had so many other players.
And also, he'd be intelligent enough to go, OK, if you're going to man mark me, he'll go and stand in the most obscure position, like go and play near the right back, right, and stand there and say, right, I've taken a player out of your team who's not going to defend, and my other teammates are now going to exploit that space. And then when you start looking at what's going on, you're mesmerised by what's happening over there, he comes into full force and sprints away from you, can't get near him. And he was rapid. If he got a yard on you, there weren't no way back. That was it, game over. Invariably, the ball in the back of the net, running back to the halfway line.
I've watched a lot of him, and I used to do like the man-to-man marking bit.
That was your game, Martin.
As a player, yeah, it was what. And the thing is, the ball's almost glued to his foot. And he's almost on top of the ball. He doesn't present it to you to be able to challenge. He's on top of it. And he's doing it at high speed. And he takes so many touches of the ball. And it's darting, moving. And the ball has to be stationary at some point when you're going to commit that tackle. And he just, as I say, you know what he's doing, but you can't stop him. And he does it time and time again. The numbers are ridiculous. Number of games Ronaldo plays, and Messi, their availability for selection is just off the spectrum. It's just unbelievable. And then the goals and what they do and the contribution they've made, the Ballon d'Ors that they're fighting over. What is it now between them? It's 7-5. It's incredible. So both of them are outstanding.
They are both outstanding. As for Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, his commitment, his work ethic, commitment to his craft is just on another level.
Yeah, I think so. I have to agree with Joe in that I think Messi was put on this planet to play football, just pure natural ability. Don't get me wrong, this fella as well has got loads of natural ability, but in terms of professionalism, working hard, diet, everything about it. I remember going to have a tour of the new training ground a few years ago when it was first opened. I turned up at about 8 o'clock, walking around, hardly a soul there. He was in the dressing room, still working out with the physios and the masseurs and everything. Apparently he just doesn't leave the training room. So professional, never misses a game. You know, we've often said, don't you type professional footballer into a computer, what is the perfect thing that comes out? And it's him, his body, his size, is everything about it. He never gets injured. He's just the consummate professional.
What was he like in the dressing room?
Yeah, an obsessive. He was obsessed with learning about the game and bringing different things into his game. And he came in one type of player, someone who wanted to entertain people, and left as the best player in the world. He was, I believe, the most decisive player we've ever seen. He decides the biggest games consistently through his career, and he scores every type of goal. I mean, we played against Roma when they were a good side in the Olympic Stadium in Rome. He scored a header that Bob Latchford, Duncan Ferguson, Les Ferdinand, Alan Shearer will be proud of. Jumped from the edge of the box like Michael Jordan.
Incredible.
He was an incredible player. All types of goals. He scored scruffy goals in the 6-yard box among the 6-7 defenders. He'd pop in there, brave as you like, but could also do the crazy stuff with the ball, the tricks, the passes, etc. But like the guys say, to do it, these two at the level, for the consistency and the amount of time they've done it for, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that, because it's impossible to do that. It's just you've got to have an element of luck as well with your body. These two you don't see injuries. They're never injured. They don't miss games. that's an element of luck.
It's interesting,
also looking after
Ronaldo to
himself.
become more effective almost without the ball. He ran with it, didn't he, so much as a youngster, and then he kind of went from a winger to a centre forward, as we've seen Messi do. You know, they were great players running with the ball, but he simplified his game, Ronaldo, and got better as the years have gone on.
I think he'll have more longevity than Messi. And that goes back to the fact that I think Messi plays football still, and obviously he's a winner and he's driven, but I think Messi plays primarily for joy. Ronaldo plays to win, I think. And I think Ronaldo will go on into his 40s and probably still score
He's going to have
goals.
to change that a little
I think
bit
at
at
some
Man United now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not playing to win now at Man United.
Yeah, well, playing to get into the Europa Conference League or something. Sorry.
He had to mention
Go,
it.
man.
He had to go there.
No, but like Messi will just one day you can see him just going, I've had enough. I'm going to sit on the beach.
He's 2 years younger, Ronaldo.
And he's 2 years younger, but I think Ronaldo will play longer. And Ronaldo will eventually get more numbers, but I think from a purist point of view, and it's really a horrible argument because they're both two greats. I just think Messi, I look at him and just... When I watch Messi play football, it's like when I watch Floyd Mayweather box or Federer play tennis. Just genius.
Well, it's a great debate. We could carry on talking about these two players forever, couldn't we? But that is 10 down and just one more position to fill. And coming up next, we will place the final piece. Plenty of superstar strikers to choose from, but only one can make it into the Champions League Immortals 11. We will also look at some of the greatest minds in the game and choose the ultimate Champions League manager and ask which of the current crop of young superstars could be destined for Champions League immortality. Join the conversation after the break. Hello and a very warm welcome back to our Champions League Immortals discussion. And it has been a great discussion so far. Let's just show you exactly how the team is shaping up so far. So we've just added Ronaldo and Messi to the mix. No debate about that. But as you can see, there is one more spot to fill. So at the moment, Ronaldo's leading the line. We've got Messi on the right. But of course, that could change depending on who we add to the mix. So let's go to our striker over there, Michael Owen.
Oh, no.
Go on, take it away.
Let's go with the same energy you had in the green room. Come on, listen.
Well, because
That's what we want to see.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with this. Well, we could mention loads, couldn't we?
We could.
Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, or whatever you want to call him, the Brazilian Ronaldo. Let's differentiate. Henry, Lewandowski, Benzema.
Is
all great
Ronaldo the
players.
best player to never have won the Champions League?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he is unbelievable. When I was growing up watching him, I literally considered hanging up my boots thinking, if that's the level you have to get to be one of the best in the world, it's impossible. I mean, he was doing things that no one could do.
Without injuries, Mo,
Oh,
he could possibly have been the best player ever to
yeah.
put a pair of boots
He's
on.
Messi and Ronaldo, isn't he?
Yeah, if he
We
did.
both played against him, and he's just an amazing
Yeah.
player. His movement, you know, in those days it used to be two strikers. I think Romario was playing with Ronaldo, and it was like spinning tops. They'd come off at the speed they'd run at, and it was ABS brakes, and I'm still running in the other direction. You know,
Yeah.
But the interchange between the two players was absolutely top door. We haven't mentioned Romario, another player that was really outstanding. But Ronaldo, probably the best player to have never won the Champions League.
So
he's
a
not getting in.
phenomenal
But he can't get in.
footballer, yes, but who's making this Champions League 11 right now, Rio?
Can I put my case
course.
forward?
Feel free.
The streets will never forget Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho.
This guy,
Where is he?
for 2 or 3 years, the best player on the planet. Played with a smile on his face. He done things on a football pitch that no one even contemplated trying. Players like Messi and that were looking at him like the Messiah. Like, he was just like a phenomenal footballer. I mean, Joe, I think you played in this game.
I played in this game. He muted the stadium. I've never heard it. The Stamford Bridge just went, everyone went quiet, like,
In
and
December.
gasped. It was like unbelievable. And then this one as well. He's so strong, Ree. I remember playing against him, and you can't really look. This is John Terry, I think. He bounces JT here. Look, he was the complete footballer, but his fire burned brightly and for a short time. You know, obviously he'd be in there. He'd be sorting out the Christmas party for this team as well. we know
Joe,
that.
is he your favourite player of all time? To watch him run with the ball, because you like to run with it with your skills.
Yeah, I'd probably go as far to say if I could choose one player to have played with in my career, it'd be Ronaldinho.
You'd have been on the bench.
And I'd have been. Oh yeah, listen. I'd have cleaned it. I'd have washed his boots. But we'd have a good night out afterwards as well. Like, what a player! I absolutely love him.
When we mentioned him before, sorry, Mo. When we mentioned him before, like we're at the World Cup. Bearing in mind we're playing for England, we're going to be playing against him. We were watching him in the stages before. When we mentioned his name in the green room, Martin.
I have a video running in my head of Rio laughing and giggling every time he got the ball, just controlling the ball, never mind doing anything with it. And because you were captivated, weren't you?
Oh, mate.
And I thought, we've got to play against him. That's my centre half. Are we going to be able to beat them?
Mate, he had me just like, I was just transfixed every time he played around that time and beyond that. When he was at Barcelona in that period and the clips we just seen, he was just a joke of a footballer. Passing the ball with his back. Who ever seen that before?
Yeah.
The ball came into me, turned around and said, he backed it to someone.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
You just watch clips of him over and over.
Is he going to pass this ball, though, to Messi?
Well, I was going to say,
But yeah,
and this is
it going to work?
He's on all the memes. Everyone loves, and I love him as well. Brilliant, but he's not a guarantee to get in the team. It can't be.
We haven't mentioned Gareth Bale,
he's
by the way.
played. Well, exactly.
Thierry
Ronaldinho's
Henry.
played.
Hold on.
Henry.
You can't mention Ronaldinho and Gareth Bale in the same sentence. Sorry.
Ronaldinho's only played 47 games in the Champions League.
Bale, 4 Champions League.
Can you mention Ronaldinho and Thierry Henry in the same sentence?
There's a conversation to be had.
But you're just going on great players here, not what they've done in the Champions League. If you look at Bale, and I'm not saying he's better than Ronaldinho, I'm just saying in every way, shape or form in the Champions League, assists, goals, appearances, medals, big moments, in any way you look at it, it's impossible. You can say
above,
Ronaldinho.
Yeah, he's above Ronaldinho in that sense. But
in every way.
But
Ronaldinho was a trailblazer, wasn't he? He was the first one to do it.
He was doing different
But not in the
stuff.
Champions League.
I see him do stuff in the
He's
Champions
won the
League.
Champions League once, but I mean...
Well, what
you're
we
just
just
thinking
saw,
as a
clips
whole,
there, the clips we just saw were only Champions League.
But you're thinking as a whole. He only played 47 games, Rio.
Yeah, but there were 47 great games.
Yeah.
That's a good
Works of art.
argument.
There's so much.
Fairy tale games.
Benzema. There's Lewandowski.
Well, we
There's
can bring that
loads of
into-
players
I don't
that-
think Gareth Bale gets nearly, honestly, guys. This Gareth Bale was absolutely wonderful talent. Even this season for Wales, seeing him score those 2 goals recently. I know he's injured and he has
Let's
different
just have a
problems, but
look
he's
at it.
managed those injuries. And he has to be in the conversation, the way that he's played over his career, to want it the number of times he has. I mean, he's rapid. his
I get what
pace,
you're saying, but
his
you need a
effectiveness.
combination of it all, man. Like, listen, Gareth Bale, don't get me wrong, he has had a ridiculous career. What he's won, the moments that he's had. But the moments, man, that Ronaldinho has done live with generations of people forever.
What about this
Very
then?
different.
What about this? If we go split Ronaldo and Messi and put him up.
Benzema's my man, I've got to be honest. I can't argue with that if you're going to do
And
that.
he's still going strong. He's still going strong.
But
But
Thierry-
so too is Lewandowski, by the way. What about Lewandowski?
Exactly.
Is there a case? Can anyone make a case for Lewandowski?
Yeah,
Make a
he's
case.
an argument because he's up there. His goal ratio in the Champions League is phenomenal. It is 86 in 106 games. It's like it is ridiculous amount of numbers. But I'm going on that fairy tale element, man. And like, if I'm going to go on fairy tale, listen, brutal goal scorers, Benzema and Lewandowski, they're phenomenal players, great goal scorers. What they bring to the party is great. But if I'm paying my ticket to go and watch this team, I want
Ronaldinho.
people I can see moving it on a dance floor.
Does the conversation change if Benzema if they win the Champions League this season?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, what he's done this year as well. Yeah, maybe.
Well, again,
Ronaldinho's in
we
my
can have
team.
this. We can do this again in 3, 4, 5 years when Benzema and Lewandowski are retired, and they might go and win another three Champions Leagues, and then it's no conversation at all. They're in. But at the moment, I'm with Rio. I just think for the romance of football, you need a bit of romance every now and then, Seema, and Ronaldinho has to be in there. Out of all of them, if they're all playing in London in different stadiums, and I've got to buy a ticket to watch one with my children, it'll probably be Ronaldinho, because I know he's going to get me off my feet.
These two are
That's
both
gonna
out
be
of the West Ham
glorious.
Academy, the skills,
Listen,
the skills academy at
it was,
West Ham.
it was imperative that you could roll the ball in the studs
Yeah.
when you was at West Ham's academy.
Stud play was a definite must-have.
Okay, so you're definitely both backing Ronaldinho,
I'm
and
definitely
you're definitely
not.
both not. You're not.
I'm not. No way.
Who
you going for?
Who are you going with?
Well, I'm changing the whole thing. I'm still. How we not pick Xavi? I want to push Zidane forward and bring Xavi into the midfield personally, but
Yeah,
it's
but
not gonna
Zidane
happen.
never played forward like that in his career.
No, but he can
Yeah,
play
but
as a 10.
you could play, couldn't you? Ronaldo just sort of tucked in a little bit with Messi up top, and then bring Zidane in. and then you could drop Xavi back into the side. You just make that little bit of a
Can
change.
we restart the show and start again?
Well, we can do it, but you'd all have to agree.
We did put Gerrard in, and they did sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of a West
So
Ham-y.
if you're wanting Ronaldinho that badly, I don't agree with it, but
Oh,
I
that's
think
very
we should
fair of
go
you,
with
Mo.
it.
We
Thierry
haven't
Henry.
even
Shall I say
had-
something?
Yeah.
Shall I say something? Thierry Henry, right, was. If you're talking about the Premier League, he's the first name on my team
Yeah.
sheet, right, in the Premier League, in Premier League history.
totally agree.
Champions League, it's just that
We saw him bully Real Madrid. Do you remember that semi-final?
he was unplayable for a couple of years as well. But they
2006.
just didn't go on and win it at that team. He'd won and won it at Barcelona, obviously.
Remarkable player, by the way, Henry.
He was for a period. How he never won the Ballon d'Or for a period. He should have won that at one point. I think that's a travesty that he didn't win it. He would be my next argument to go in that team. I've got to be honest.
So he goes on the left. Could he go on the left?
Yeah, that's where I would play him, probably on the left. But I can't look past Ronaldinho. I'm sorry, me personally. We can debate that. You guys, I don't know who you've decided yet.
Are you going to allow it, Mo?
Already said.
Who have you
Are
guys
you going to
said?
allow it?
I've already said I want to put Zidane up there and bring Xavi in, but I'm happy to.
Okay, you're happy.
I'm happy to.
Are you happy with Ronaldinho?
Well, I'm not happy, but I'll go with it.
You'll go with it.
I'm not sure Ronaldinho deserves to get into the team, really, based on
Well, he
that.
doesn't.
So who would you
Based
go
on the
with?
numbers, he
Statistics
don't get
over a
close to
lengthy
it, but I
period.
mean,
I would sooner put Henry into there on the left, but I do feel maybe a better mix is to have Ronaldinho, Messi with Zidane off the front, and then to bring Xavi back in to the midfield. I'm happier sitting on the
Can't
bench
accept
as a
it.
coach.
I have to have Ronaldinho
you-
in my team.
Who
I've
would be your
conceded
second?
Ashley Cole. I wouldn't even have Henry as the next one in, like Rio said. My next one in would probably be Benzema.
Okay.
Benzema.
A touch above Henry out of that group. We've put Ronaldo R9 to the side because he's not won it, but we've said what a player is. Lewandowski scores goals, but just something just not there for me. Gareth Bale just underneath, but I could be happy with Benzema, but I couldn't be happy with Henry on a Champions League level.
I
Would you
totally
be
agree with
happy
that.
both of you, would you be happy to lose Ronaldinho for Benzema?
Can I just say, I'd conceded Ashley Cole.
I know you
could-
did.
Like,
I know you're not over
Xavi's
that.
not in his
I
team
know
as
you're not
well.
over it
Xavi's
yet.
not in his team as well. I'm conceding.
Well,
too
that's
much.
what I wanted to bring back. But let's do. This is it, isn't it? This is what we're saying. Will concede. Martin,
You'll
come on, let's
concede.
concede.
Yeah, we'll be here all night if we don't concede.
Right, we've got a decision.
You need
Well
two
done.
balls, though, for this team.
Can I also ask you, with this team, who is your captain?
Oh wow.
Zidane.
No.
Ramos.
Or Maldini.
Has to be a centre half. I like
Has
my
to be.
centre halves as captains. I'll go with Maldini.
I'll take Maldini.
Yeah.
Maldini?
Yeah.
Agreed?
And who's going to manage this team?
Well, we're coming on to that in a moment. Well, here is your 11. Are you happy? Well, you are. All of you have had to concede a little bit, but that is an extremely strong 11, my goodness. Well, let's now have a look at the fans' 11. So the fans have been getting involved as well over the course of the last few weeks and putting forward their thoughts for their all-time Champions League 11. And here it is. And again, a very strong lineup. It's all fun and games, isn't it, when
Wow.
you're having to choose this? But they have gone with Karim Benzema up front. They have managed to get Xavi in there as well. And they've gone with the same back four and goalkeeper as you. What do you think? That was 3 million votes,
I think
by
that's
the way.
better than ours.
There you go, fans. You heard it from Mo. What do you
think it
think?
is.
What do you
Not
think?
dissimilar, is it? I mean,
It's not too
the modern day fan, Benzema, seeing a lot of him this season, so maybe that's influencing.
What do you think, Rio, of the fans' 11?
No, I'm happy with their team. It's very similar. It shows we're along the same similar lines. But Ronaldinho has to be in there. I'm sorry.
OK, all right. Let's not open that debate again. OK, Martin, you just asked a very good question. Who manages the team? So take it away. In your opinion, who would it be?
I think maybe Ancelotti deserves the opportunity to manage this team. He's there again, isn't he, this time round? I think he's won it 3 times. Zidane has a shout, but he can't be player manager too. He can't have it both ways. So, but let's put Ancelotti in charge.
Mo?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, based on what he's done and all his numbers, he's obviously right up there. How can you argue? But I would argue that the two people on the left, I would say Klopp and Pep Guardiola, are possibly better. Sir Alex Ferguson, I mean, is there anyone as more successful than him? Ancelotti's done it for a lot of different
Yeah.
teams, hasn't he? So, go on.
Zidane and
I'll bow to that one.
Ancelotti have both won it 3 times, Rio.
I would have to go probably Ancelotti. Just the fact that he's managed in multiple countries and won titles in multiple countries. So the fact he speaks multiple languages, he'll be best equipped to do it with his team.
You've been thinking about this, haven't you?
Yeah, players from all over the world, and I think he'd be the one. And when you speak to players, importantly about him, all jokes aside, they all say what a great man manager is, and this team would need man management.
And actually, to think that he's done it, as you said, across generations with different clubs around the world, I mean, it's pretty special. Are you in agreement?
Yeah, I played for Carlo, and he is a gentleman at the game, fantastic manager, and he makes it look so easy. I think if you look at the other four, and they're brilliant geniuses, but they make it, he looks like he's enjoying it, and he does enjoy it.
Joe, is he the best manager you've ever played under?
No.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But then the best manager I played under is not under there.
Well, exactly.
Jose's not there.
Exactly.
I think he needs to be in a shout to win the Champions League with that Porto side and then the Inter Milan side. I know he hasn't done it for a long, long time, but
I think Mourinho should be on.
He should be considered. Put it that way.
If you were to turn that round and ask that 11, which manager would you like to play for most?
Carlo.
Which one do you think they'd say?
Yeah, I regret.
Carlo.
Would they not say
I'd
a
say
modern
Carlo.
manager?
You think so?
What, do you think these lot are going to want to run like the way Klopp wants his team
What
running?
about Pep?
I think
Would
they love
not
Klopp,
choose
the
Pep?
Liverpool
No,
players.
there's too many rules with Pep and with Klopp. I think
Yeah.
with Carlo, the eyebrow as well. Imagine the eyebrow.
Nothing wrong
flying
with the
about.
eyebrow.
Flying about that change room. And the cigar. Have you seen the picture of him the other day celebrating the league win with a cigar and the lads and the shades on?
Real Madrid, yeah.
He's got to be there with them shades and that cigar on the sidelines. It's a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. I think Ancelotti's the one.
Ancelotti then.
At that, let's leave it at that. Carlo Ancelotti it is, right? OK, well, let's talk about future Immortals. So actually, you made a great point earlier saying, well, in years to come, 3 years' time, who might we be talking about? From the current crop of Champions League players we've been watching, we've been following this season, who would you say we might be talking about? I mean, we've got lots to pick from.
With them three lads on the screen above you, all of them will be there or thereabouts. We talked about we don't think Messi and Ronaldo's numbers could get hit. I think their numbers could be hit, but it won't be done with the same panache. But Erling Haaland will score. If he don't score 1,000 goals in his career, he'll be close to that. I don't know what the numbers are at the
1,000
moment.
goals? Wow, that's a
Club
big
and
shout.
country. He must be on 200 odd already,
I
and he's
like it, I like
21.
it.
If he plays for another 15 years, 16 years,
You need
So
a
they
big
win
bit
the
of luck,
Champions
didn't you?
League.
So
You
will
need
he
big
be
luck
taking?
fitness-wise.
Will he be
With those
taking
figures, they win the
Ronaldinho's
Champions League.
spot in your team?
Pardon?
Will he be taking Ronaldinho's spot in your team? In
Haaland?
years to come.
I don't know. Listen, another name that I think you need to add on there in terms of what he's doing at the moment and the amount of the trophy haul he's on at the minute. Trent Alexander-Arnold as well as a young kid
What a star.
who probably he'll be jostling for that right back position maybe. Reece James if he continues with the amount of trophies or finals they're getting into, and they're fighting for that position with England as well. But I think Mbappe, man,
Yeah,
he's so quick.
Yeah, he takes your breath away like nobody else. He's the one player on the planet that can just do things and it makes you stand up, doesn't it? I mean, Foden, delightful to watch and everything. Haaland, just a big number, big goal scorer. But Mbappe, if I was a defender, I'd be petrified about to play against Mbappe more so than anyone else on this planet at the moment.
Haaland
Pace
and
frightens defenders,
Mbappe.
doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Haaland and Mbappe's numbers at their age is better than Messi's and Ronaldo's. We need to remember that. And I don't know whether they'll go on to carry on with the same level, but if they do, then the numbers could be incredible and it'll be a different conversation.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? It'd be interesting to see how Haaland does now at Man City.
Yeah.
And if he'll win the Champions League with them.
And we think that he's the missing part in that jigsaw, the number 9 to finish them chances that they
False
keep
nine.
creating.
He's a real 9.
Can he be that guy?
We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Well, let's just quickly recap your Champions League all-time 11. There it is. I'm not going to now ask if you're happy because I know where you're not happy, but hang on, that is a strong 11, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, you can't get that wrong. And with Carlo managing them, there's no problem. We'll take on anyone. All comers. Bring them on.
Do you still think, is there enough balance, though, on the counter-attack?
Well, maybe...
OK, let's continue that after the show, shall we? Thank you, gents. I've really enjoyed it. It's been great fun having your company. Thank you for yours as well. And there we have it, 11 Champions League Immortals as chosen by our expert panel. A big thank you to Rio, Joe, Michael and Martin for joining us, and thank you to everyone who also got involved online for a fantastic and fun debate, which, much like the 11s assembled, will live forever. We'll see you very soon. Goodbye.